So it is time for the sermon, but before we get there, I just want to do something important. I hope you are enjoying the service, especially our incredible teen tefillah team. And I just want to shout out three of them. There are actually four seniors. One of our seniors is not here tonight, but Joni and Megan and Matthew, thank you to the three of you for your leadership and for helping us to have these incredible moments of prayer. We are so grateful to the three of you for your leadership and everything you give us. And just a shameless plug, one of those three, Joni Applefield, is actually going to be featured this week, tomorrow when it drops, right after Shabbos, on my podcast, Waking Up to Life. She's the next guest. And by the way, the podcast just went over the 20,000 listener mark. So join me. Listen to Joni. She's better than I am, so enjoy. All right, if you followed the news this week, you know that it has been interesting. But it's not what you're thinking about. First of all, you know that following a terror attack on tourists in Kashmir, India bombed Pakistan in retaliation. You know that Israel's Knesset voted to renew a ground and air campaign in Gaza. And you know that Ukrainian and Russian forces exchanged fire in ongoing hostilities. Now, there's something else that happened, but I'll get to that later in the sermon. Here, closer to home, you also probably know, or may know, that so far this year, there have been 6 shootings in schools in America, resulting in 13 injuries and deaths. And as of April 15th, 232 people have died in traffic accidents in the state of Michigan, not just in accidents, but as a result of road rage and highway violence. And if you think things get better in our neighborhood, consider the experience that I had this week when I made a routine stop at a grocery store near my home. I parked in an open spot further away from the doors as I often do to maximize my daily step count. I walked from my car and I saw a person complaining about another shopper who had parked badly, taking up 2 prime spaces. Surprisingly, he looked at me, cursed the driver who wasn't there, and then kicked a dent into one of the doors. I was shocked, to say the least. And then after all of those incidents, near and far, it had me feeling very badly about the state of our world. From international politics to local relationships, it seems that this world is becoming a terrible place for inhabitants. So depressed and disheartened, I sat down to write a sermon. And I was immediately rewarded with wisdom from Jewish tradition. Because of the way the Jewish calendar functions, this particular week's Torah portion is a mashup of 2 parashiot. One of them, called Kedoshim, begins with a series of commandments that are often referred to as the Holiness Code. It is a list of ways that we can be holy. It presents commandments meant to help our ancestors navigate the creation of a just and kind community. Included in those moral standards and mitzvot are things like charitable giving, honesty in business, honoring our parents, general kindness. And of course, the most famous is the commandment named the cardinal rule, or the golden rule by Rabbi Akiva: love your neighbor as yourself. And just as I was typing those words into my computer, I received the news that a new pope had been elected. Along with a surprised world community, I listened to Pope Leo's first homily. From St. Peter's Basilica, his words resonated. All of us are in God's hands. So let us move forward without fear, together, hand in hand with God and with one another. The world needs God's light. Humanity needs God as the bridge that can lead us to his love. Help us, one and all, to build bridges through dialogue and encounter, joining together as one people, always at peace. It was amazing. Spoken in Spanish and Italian, it was a message not just to Catholics, but to all of us. And it's interesting to note that the Pope's words and our Torah portion this week speak in unison. There are no qualifications to the Golden Rule. The law is simple. Be kind. Be nice. Do unto others as you want them to do to you. Short and sweet, no room for interpretation. It doesn't happen often in Judaism to have something so universally and so unequivocally universal. But it is a powerful statement in light of the world in which we are living. Now, one of my favorite texts in this Torah portion is not the most famous. Tucked deep into the Holiness Code is this one. Do not put a stumbling block in front of a blind person. Now, Kedoshim was my own daughter's Torah portion. I remember studying the text with her a few months prior to her bat mitzvah. And I listened to her reaction when I said that line, don't put a stumbling block in front of a blind person, to her. She looked at me. She said, Dad, that is so stupid. Of course we shouldn't trip a blind man. And she was right. But we know that laws don't appear in the historical text without a purpose. Apparently, even in the ancient world, it wasn't so obvious to be kind. Our ancestors needed that reminder, and so do we. While it seems easy to do, don't put a stumbling block in front of a blind person. Being nice is not always natural. All of us could be better, kinder, holier. And it turns out, I found out this week, there's actually an organization dedicated to this work. It's called the Random Acts of Kindness Foundation. And it was established to motivate people to inspire and empower the good in the world. The purpose is to inspire acts of kindness, believing that kindness can have a positive impact on individuals and on a society. They've used a research-supported model, knowing that acts of kindness can reduce stress, anxiety, and depression. They believe that when communities are kind, they grow. Connections are created and strengthened. That people have a better sense of belonging and social cohesion when they are connected to each other through acts of goodness. Just by being kind, we can make this community far better. So trying to make kindness the norm, the website actually offers a few examples. People can anonymously share their moments, like this one. Very simple. Recently, I helped a classmate who was struggling to understand a difficult assignment. I explained the concepts to them in a different way. We worked together step by step until they solved it successfully and got a perfect score. It felt great to see their relief and how much they appreciated my help. Think about what the world would be like if each one of us wrote a single paragraph of something that you did this week that was kind to another human being. And my message tonight is that simple. Just be nice, for God's sake. Let me say that again. Just be nice, for God's sake. Then the world will be a better place to live. And that's all. Short and sweet. Be nice, and the world will be a better place. I want you to think about that. The words of the Pope this week. In a challenging world, we can be nice. And I want you also to think about that as our Teen Tefillah team comes forward once again to sing our anthem. Their words share an example of God who fills our hearts with a never-ending, everlasting love. Ki le'olam chasto. May we all live up to that standard of love and kindness. Shabbat shalom.